Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be doing a couple of things. So if you haven't heard of Horror Bingo, which is hosted by Sarah from Wicked Reading, I would implore you to go and check her channel out first of all, because she's very cool and she has a lot of like horror and thriller recommendations and she's absolutely fantastic. She's also made this entire bingo board up based off of the Our Fantasy bingo board, but it's horror based. You can read like thrillers and horror adjacent books and stuff, but I loved it. I did it last year for the first time. Actually, I think last year was the first time that she did it, and I took part and I've had the best time, and it's really pushed me to explore horror a lot more, which is great. And this year I'm trying to lean into the horror side of it a little bit more as well. I think I did pick up some probably more thriller, mystery related books for some of the prompts last year, but for this upcoming year, I'm very excited to lean into the horror a little bit more. So the readathon does start on the 1st of October and it runs till the 30th of September. And I just really enjoy myself. I have a very good time with it. So let's do a very quick rundown of exactly what I read in 2024's Horror Bingo board, which was running from the 1st of October 2024 through till the 30th of September 2025. And we'll do a quick run through, see whether or not I ticked off all of the prompts. I didn't stick to my original TBR for the most part. So the then TBR portion for the 2025 bingo board could end up being redundant, but alas, it gives me an idea of things I want to read. These are, for the most part as well, I actually think I've gone for majority books off of my TBR, whether they be Kindle books that I already own or physical books on my TBR, as you can see the stack behind me. So I'm excited. So we're going to do a wrap up of 2024 and then we are going to do my TBR for 2025 in the same video. I'm going to try and keep the wrap up portion pretty short. Last year I ended up needing to do, actually this year for Our Fantasy, I ended up needing to do a little bit of a vlog portion just to fulfill a couple of the last prompts for Our Fantasy, and then did my wrap up, and then I did my TBR separate for the next Our Fantasy. However, with this one, I'm just going to do it all in one video because I did complete the bingo board. So there's no need to do a vlog portion of this to catch up. So fantastic news. And I am currently filming this on the 19th of September as well, so I've actually finished it early, which is outstanding. So without further ado, let's get into last year's Horror Bingo board. So I will show you a picture of the empty bingo board for last year and then a picture of my completed bingo board, and I will just show the pictures of the covers. Editing Steph's going to hate me, but alas, it's easier than dragging all the books off my shelves, and for a good portion of them I don't own the books anymore, or I never did. So it's easier just to do it this way around. I will show you a cover of the book that I did end up reading to fulfill said prompt. So the first prompt was to read a book that was published in 2024, and I did read Heads Will Roll for this by Josh Winning. I did really enjoy it, so tick for that one. Then for The End Times Are Near, which is a book considered apocalyptic, I did read Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and I did enjoy that one too. Then for This Is Halloween, a book that takes place on or around Halloween, I read All Hallows by Christopher Nolan. Didn't love this one, I've got to be honest. If you see me looking past you at any point, I'm looking at my screens, my computer screens, which is why we're at my desk. For Blood on the Cover, I did read Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This isn't the book that I originally picked. I did have Family Business on here by Jonathan Sims, but I didn't get to that one, so I ended up replacing it with a book that I have read in the year and does have blood on the cover. Then for Woods and Wilderness, this is a book that uses the woods as a main setting. I did read The Final Scene by Steph Nelson. Quite liked this one. It was good. I did have What Lives in the Woods by Lindsay Curry down for this one, but I didn't pick that one up. Honouring the Classics is for a book that is either considered a horror classic or is a reimagining or retelling of a classic. I've probably read a few of these throughout the year actually, but for this one I have put in The Shining by Stephen King. I originally had Salem's Lot by Stephen King, so I did replace it with another King. It is what it is. For translated work, a book that is translated from author's native language, I originally had The Night Guest in for this one, and I've actually put that in somewhere else. So I did read it, but I ended up moving it to a different prompt to cover a different prompt. For this one, I have got myself down for hashtag Dracula Midnight Children Volume 1. So I did read that one. It is translated. It is a horror. It fits. For a cover pick, I went for We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. I loved this book. It was fantastic. For a Reaper read, which was a book where the themes surround death, grief, etc., I ended up reading Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. I did have Foxglove by Adeline Grace down for this one, but I haven't continued on with that series. So I didn't pick that one. For Title Has a Spooky Word, this is a book where the title features a spooky word, for example, ghost, grave, haunting, death, etc. I ended up going for Kill Your Darlings by Peter Swanson. There's probably a multitude of books that I could have fulfilled with this prompt, but kill is spooky word, I reckon. I had The Haunting down by Natasha Preston for this one, but didn't get to it, unfortunately. Then Dead Man Walking is a book that features reanimated corpses or zombies. So for this one, I was going to go for This Delicious Death, but I ended up actually DNFing that book, which therefore, like on the Storygraph challenge, it doesn't count if you've DNF'd the book. So I had to pick something else. So I have fished through what I've read for the year, and I've actually just finished Ghostsmith by Nikki Palpretto, which does in fact feature reanimated corpses. So success for that. That was a close one. I thought I was going to have to read something else for that one, but that was a close one. Then we had Genre Bending, a book that combines horror with another genre. So I was going to go for Vampires of El Norte with this one, which is a historical horror, but I ended up not picking that one up, and I ended up going for Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, which is a horror with a romance element to it. It's actually like horror fantasy romance or horror romantasy, so that definitely bends the genre for sure. A 5-star read was essentially just a book that is 5 stars that's a horror, and I went for Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman, so he is on here twice. I try not to, because with our fantasy you're only supposed to pick an author once. That isn't necessarily a rule, I don't think, or it's not been specified for Horror Bingo, but I try and do the same thing. But alas, I gave Incidents Around the House 5 stars, so I put it in. BIPOC author I originally had When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole for this one, but I didn't end up picking that one up this year. And that is more of a mystery thriller, I think, anyway. And I did end up picking up Bat Eater by Kylie Lee Baker, which I loved. Absolutely love that book. So yeah, and that one is a horror, so it fulfills the prompt better anyway. Cryptid, which is a book that features a cryptid creature. Now for this one, I'm hoping this counts. I have googled it but I'm hoping it counts, and I've gone for Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I was originally going to go for It Came From the Trees by Ali Russell, but I didn't end up picking that one up. But Don't Let the Forest In does have some really weird creatures in it, and I think I have done some Googling. I'm fairly certain they count as cryptid creatures, and some of the people on the Storygraph Challenge have put the book in there. So I've ended up going for that one. I hope it counts. Title Has a Number. Originally, I was going for Nona the Ninth, but I ended up picking up Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark. I'm holding off on Nona the Ninth because I want to know when we're getting a release day for Electo, so that I can binge the series. I want to reread Gideon and Harrow, and then I can move on to Nona and Electo once I know when it's coming out. So that is my goal. Satanic Panic. The prompt for this is a book that features an element of the occult. So originally I was going for Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did recently DNF this one, so I was still hoping to fulfill the prompt with that book, but unfortunately it's not worked out. So I went back through everything that I've read throughout the year, and I did read Odd Spirits by S.T. Gibson, and apparently that one counts. So I've gone for that one instead. A book club pick. I was on the Book Troop live show for When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, so I did put that one in. I was supposed to be doing Bunny by Mona Award, but I ended up DNFing that one because it was my Patreon book club pick, but I DNF'd it, so I replaced it with When the Wolf Comes Home because I was on Book Troop's live show for that. If you did not know, I was. It was amazing, and I loved the book. So yeah, Pink Horror, I had Mary by Nat Cassidy down for this one. Haven't picked this one up. You're going to see it again in my next TBR. And I ended up putting down The Night Gets Down for this one by Hilda Knunst Dottier. My apologies. I did mention this earlier. I was originally picking this one up for translated work. So it is translated, but I've ended up replacing Mary with this one for Pink Horror. Pink Horror is a book that has themes of girlhood or womanhood, and this was perfect for that. So success. Then we have multi-POV. I was supposed to be going for The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, but didn't pick that one up. I ended up going for The Family Experiment by John Mars. There's probably multiple books throughout the year that I've picked up that have got multiple POV that could work. So that one is the one I've put in. As seen on the big screen, I was going to be going for Let the Right One In, but I didn't end up picking that one up. That book is massive, and it was never particularly on my radar. I was just struggling for a movie to big screen horror that wasn't Stephen King, because I already had him in elsewhere. So I ended up picking up The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which was great. So not the book itself, but it's great that it fulfilled the prompt. I didn't like the book, but it did fulfill the prompt. And I did end up getting hard mode on that one, because the hard mode for it was that I haven't seen the film or the show. So, you know, I'm not going through the hard mode of all of these. We'll be here all day otherwise. Out of Your Comfort Zone is a horror book that is a subgenre you don't typically read. So for this one, I went for The Eyes the Best Part by Monica Kim, which is the book that I originally had down for the TBR. And the out of your comfort zone side of it is body horror. I tend not to lean into books with body horror, but I loved this one. I ended up giving it 5 stars. It was fantastic and I loved it. Short story collection. Originally I was going for Ghostly Tales, but I ended up finding a new short story collection that had been released by some horror authors, which was the Creature Feature collection, and I did read this one. So that's great, because I did a similar thing for our fantasy as well, and I had a good time. So yeah, I do enjoy those collections. They're very good. Next, we had a TBR bet, so a book that's been on your TBR for a long time, and I went for The Deep by River Solomon. I didn't love this one. I think it's a very important book, but I didn't personally love it. I'm glad I've read it. It had been on my TBR for a very long time, but I didn't personally love it. And then last but by no means least, we had Creepy Crawlies, and I originally had Cackle down by Rachel Harrison, and that is the book that I did read, and I loved it. It was so much fun. So that is my first Rachel Harrison as well. You're going to see her on here too. So that was my completed horror bingo board for 2024. I did manage it. I'm really hoping, I may have stretched with some of these books, but I'm really hoping that I didn't stretch too far to the point that you don't think it counts. I know it's not that serious and I know it's not that deep, but I am a completionist on occasion, and this is one of those occasions. So I'm really hoping that I did manage to complete this. So that is the 2024 horror bingo board completed. Okay, so moving on to the 2025 to 2026 horror bingo board. I'm so excited. Look how pretty this is. Sarah's done such a fantastic job. It looks so nice. Love the purple and green neon vibes of this. So I'm very excited indeed. We do have a prompt that we will be finding out the book together. I've put the prompts on a spinner wheel. When we get to it, I will let you know. But I do have the story graph open for this so that I can let you know the hard mode for everything and give you the full prompt for everything. And I will leave the links to everything in the description box down below. Sarah's channel, the announcement video, the story graph challenge and everything. I will leave it all in the description box down below. Please do and go and check her out, because she is fantastic and I truly, truly adore her. So do go and check her out. So let's get into this board. We're going to spend a little bit more time over here with this board, and I'm excited to give you my TBR. I'm really looking forward to it. Whether or not I stick to it is another matter, but I'm excited for all of these books. So I'm hopeful that I will do. Hopeful that I can actually knock quite a bit of this off before the year finishes as well, which will be fantastic news. So the first prompt is very similar to the first prompt of the last board, published in 2025. So this is a book that is published in 2025. The hard mode is to read it by the end of 2025, and I am going to go for The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig, because I want to try and get this in before the end of the year within a keep it or eat it. This has come from Evernight, and I'm really excited about reading this one. It sounds very good. A group of friends investigate the mystery of a strange staircase in the woods in this mesmerizing horror novel. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It sounds fantastic, and this edition is stunning. I'm hopeful that I'm going to love this. I'm going to be so devastated if I don't, but I'm hopeful I'm going to love it. So that is the one that I'm picking for published in 2025. Next, we do have mixed media. So a book that includes mixed media, journal entries, letters, scripts, text, advertisements, etc. The hard mode for this one is that the book includes more than 3. So I'm fairly certain the hard mode for this is yes. And I'm going for Rules for Vanishing by K. Alice Marshall. I've been meaning to pick this book up for so freaking long. I'm fairly certain this is on my our fantasy bingo board for the epistolary, I think it's called epistolary prompt, which is pretty much the same thing, mixed media. And this definitely has more than 3 in it. So we have, for example, interview transcripts. We have got, what's that? Video evidence transcripts. We've got more interviews and videos. Do we have something else? Written testimonials, we've got text exhibits. So there's a lot going on in here. We've got group chat transcripts as well. So there is a lot of mixed media going on here, and I'm very excited to read this one. And it's about a missing girl, I believe, and her sister wants to find out what's happened to her or something, like a game was involved and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've read from Kate Alice Marshall before and enjoyed her works, and I do have a couple more of her books on my TBR. So would like to get to this one so that I can start catching up with her backlist. But yeah, looking forward to it. Next, we do have indie or self-published work, and the hard mode for this is a new to you author. I'm going hard mode for this one as well, and it's actually a book I don't own yet because it's not even out yet officially. I have an arc of it, and it is 8114 by Joshua Hull, and I'm very much so looking forward to this one. I'll show a picture of it on screen. It's basically following a podcaster who has kind of like come out of the podcasting side of things and decided to go back to his hometown and kind of try and solve a mystery that happened there a while ago. And I don't know if he ends up going back to his podcasting roots to try and, you know, record everything that's going on and all sorts of kind of weird shit starts happening. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I've had it on my TBR for a while. It's literally been in my NetGalley for ages, probably since last year. So I've had it for a really long time, and I'm hopeful to get to it before the official release date for this one. So I am going to be picking that one up this side of 2026. So I'm looking forward to that one, and it is indie published. Then we do have paranormal. So for this one, it is a book that is considered paranormal topics such as ghosts, alien abductions, psychic abilities unexplained by science. Hard mode is that there are ghost hunters or paranormal investigator characters. So I don't think I'm going hard mode for this one until I read it. I won't properly know, but I'm fairly certain I'm not. And I'm actually going in a little bit of a different direction with this one. This one is classified as like a genre bending one because it's sci-fi horror, and I'm going to go for Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I really want to pick this one up. I loved Dead Silence, so I'm very excited to get to this one, and I know Cold Eternity is either released now or coming out soon, and I want to get my hands on it, but I want to read this one first. So, and it does start off by saying that there's a psychologist that is kind of researching this Eckhart-Reiser syndrome, which is the most famous case of which resulted in brutal murders of 29 people. Terrified that history will repeat itself, Feeler and crew must work together to figure out what's happening. But trust is hard to come by, and the crew members aren't the only one keeping secrets. So some of the crew are keeping secrets. They're starting to be picked off one by one when they go to this other planet or something. And I'm looking forward to giving this one a read. I'm really excited about it. It's about time, honestly. Okay, Stolen from Another TBR. So this is a book that you saw on somebody else's TBR. So I was the first one to actually make my TBR for like 2.5 hours after Sarah released the video announcement for this. I then spent like that time putting together a TBR from recommendations that she recommends in the video, or from doing my own research and finding some other books and having a look at what was on my shelves that could complete the prompts. However, a few hours later, somebody else then posted their TBR, shared it to their Instagram stories, and then Sarah shared it. So I'm going to steal something off their TBR because they were the next person to then share their TBR. And that person is Got to Love Lex on Instagram. And I'll show a quick picture of a screenshot that I took here. And the book that I'm stealing is actually going to be Fantastic Land by Mike Bokoven. I've heard such good things about this book. They have this book down for mixed media, which excites me somewhat. So I'm hoping to get my hands on a copy of that soon. But that is the book that I'm going to be stealing. I don't know anything about it other than the fact that I'm fairly certain that it is set at a theme park, or like an abandoned theme park maybe. Other than that, I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's a working theme park. I don't know if it's abandoned. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm excited to go into it, probably not knowing too much because I've heard such incredible things about it. So that is the one that I've stolen from somebody else's TBR. The hard mode for stolen from another TBR is the get the book from a Horror Bingo TBR. So I have stolen it from somebody's Horror Bingo TBR, so it is the hard mode for that one. In fact, I can change the hard mode on that to yes. I've not just stolen it from a random TBR. Next, we do have vampires, and this is obviously a book that has vampires in it. The hard mode is the story takes place in modern day. Mine isn't hard mode because I'm actually going to go to a book that was on my original Horror Bingo TBR for 2024 and I didn't pick up. And I'm going to go for Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. I know that Isabel has had another book since released, and I'm intrigued by that one. I don't know if it's going to be for me or not, but I'm intrigued about it nonetheless. Claire did send me this one for a birthday, probably a couple of years ago now. So it's about time I got to it. When did this come out? 2023. So it's probably a birthday in 2023 that I was sent this. So I've had it for coming up 2 years, and it's about time I got to this one, honestly. I don't know anything about it, but it is historical setting. So it's not set in the modern day, but vampires and vaqueros face off on the Texas-Mexico border in this supernatural western. Interesting. It sounds intriguing, and yeah, I'm interested. Definitely going to do the audiobook for this one so I don't make any messes with pronunciation. But yeah, that's the one that I'm picking up for vampires. Okay, next we do have water setting, a book with a prominent water setting. Coastal, involves a lake, ocean, etc. The hard mode for this is the majority of the story happens directly on or in water. Now, I struggled with this one really hard because I have a little bit of an issue with water. Not as a whole, but like the sea is a problem for me. If you've been here for a while, you know that I have incredibly severe sickness that it appears to have gotten worse this year. I tested my limits and I shouldn't have done it, and it's now fucked about with like my travel sickness as a whole. I don't get motion sickness in general. I've never had travel sickness other than seasickness, and this year has been a nightmare for me. So I tested my boundaries, should not have done that, won't be doing it again. But the water setting one has been a little bit of a problem. I have been known to have to DNF books because they're set at sea, and it's made me nauseous because of the motion of the ocean within the book. It's so ridiculous, it's not even funny. So this one I did struggle with. I don't have a lot of books set at sea, and I certainly don't have a lot of books not set at sea, set around water. It doesn't even have to be in water. It can have a coastal setting, which, to be fair, I do have a couple of books like that, but I kind of wanted to lean into the hard mode of this. So with all of that being said, I've actually got myself a couple of options for this one, but I think I'm going to prioritize one over the other. So one of my options is Red River 7 by AJ Ryan, which I've had for a while. This one is actually more so of a nerve-shredding thriller. 7 strangers awaken with no memories. Together, they must undertake a mission into the heart of darkness. They're on a boat, I believe. They all awaken on a boat and they've got no idea what's going on. And then the one that I think I'm going to prioritise, because I've had this one for a while as well, probably not as long actually as Red River 7, but this one just sounds really good and I love the cover for it, is We Don't Swim Here by Vincent Torrado. I've actually got another book by Vincent Torrado on my TBR as well, and I always forget that these are by the same author. They're not next to each other because one of them's a hardback and one of them's a paperback. But this one is following Anais knows the rules. Keep everyone in Hillwood safe. Her cousin is intent on breaking them. So we're following Brownwyn, who's only supposed to be in Hillwoods for a year. Her grandmother is in hospice. Her father needs to get her affairs in order, and they're all meant to make some final memories together, except Brownwyn is miserable. Her grandmother's dying and everyone is standoffish. All she hears are warnings about going into the water despite the gorgeous lake, and a pool at the abandoned rec centre, and another in the high school basement. So they're not supposed to go into the water, and I think she wants to find out the reason why. So this one sounds really interesting. I have a couple of options if we have like a DNF situation here, so that's good. I have options for all of these, but I couldn't make my mind up with either of these two, so I've picked them both. I'm going to prioritise this one, I think. Okay, next we have Horror Movie Element, a book that features horror movies in some way, pays homage to horror movie characters, revolves around a movie, there's a character that is a horror movie connoisseur, etc. Hard mode for this is just to watch a horror movie. So I've got this down for hard mode. But for this one, I am actually going to pick a non-fiction that has recently come in and I'm very excited to give a read. But Your Favourite Scary Movie by Ashley Collins, which is how the Scream films rewrote the rules of horror. So this one says the ultimate story of the Scream movie franchise, featuring interviews from more than 80 key players and an in-depth exploration of the creation and legacy of the films that revived a dying genre. That's probably a personal opinion, but I'm looking forward to this one. It sounds so interesting. The Scream franchise is one of my favourite franchises in horror. I don't watch a lot of horror, I've got to be honest. Andy watches a lot more dark horror than I do. He's very much a horror fiend, but I'm not. But I like the more slasher type horrors, Halloween, Scream, for example. Those are the types of horrors that I like because I know what I'm getting into. So I feel like this one could be a fun one and I'm interested in finding out more about it. And I'm just obsessed with this cover. I think it's very cool. So I am picking up a non-fiction for this as well. Outstanding. Okay, next is to spell ghost or scare. A book that you can spell ghost or scare using the letters from the title and the author's name. Hard mode. The author is BIPOC. So this one, I am going hard mode for this one. And this I found a little bit hard. I've got so many books on my TBR that have the word maybe like ghost or scare in the title, but I felt like that was taking the easy route maybe a little bit. I'm actually going to go for Strange Pictures by Yuketsu. I tried this once I have it on my Kindle, and I tried it on my Kindle and I wasn't sure whether or not the pictures were coming out okay on my Kindle. So I actually did go into Waterstones not too long ago to double check how the formatting of the book is, because it's got pictures in the book and I thought the formatting was wrong on my Kindle. It's not. So I can now go back to this and read it. And I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's got strange pictures in it. And then there is a follow-up called Strange Houses, which I would like to read as well. So this one you can do scare from the title and the author's name. You can't do ghost, but you can do scare. So that's what I'm picking up for that one. Then we do have Liminal Spaces. This is a book where the story included a liminal space, a place between worlds / planes / universes. Hard mode is the book has an even number of pages. So for this one, I'm actually going, I don't know the answer to that question because I haven't checked yet, but I'm actually going for a book that's on my Kindle that I picked up because Jade really enjoyed it. And I texted Sage, do you think I would like it? And she was like, actually, yeah, I do. So I'm picking it up on that basis. And I'm also picking it up on the basis that Sarah recommended it in her video for this prompt specifically. So I'm going for House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. It sounds really interesting. It's following three sisters, I believe. I think they go missing and then they come back, but two of the three maybe, or only two of them come back and one of them's not how they used to be, or something really bizarre is going on with the sisters. And yeah, I believe that it will count for this prompt on the basis that Sarah recommended it specifically for this prompt. So I'm excited for that one. It sounds interesting. Then we do have a library book. So obviously a book that you checked out from the library. If you can get to a library or you don't have access to a library, you can alternatively do a book that you borrowed from a friend if you don't have access to a library. Now, I don't have many bookish friends local to me, so I don't have any choice but to do the library for this one. But this challenge for me is quite difficult because my library is shut for renovations, and it's a little bit, I've got 2 books out from the library, so I've ended up picking one of those that I got out before the library shut, and I didn't get back to them before it shut. The hard mode for this is that you return it on time or in a timely manner. I'm not going to get hard mode for this. I don't know how much longer the library's going to be shut for, and I don't know when I'm going to get access back to the books again. So I'm just going to pick one of those 2 books. They were both, well, one was like a mystery, the other's like a thriller. So they'll count. They're horror adjacent. And I'm actually going for Drowning by TJ Newman. As you can see, it is from my local library. It's got like the library thing on it and stuff. But yeah, I've had this for way too long now, and I'm going to be in trouble when I finally get it back. That's for damn sure. So I'm going to pick this one up. I really enjoyed Falling by this author, so I'm excited to get to this one. I should have gotten to it by now and gotten it back to the fucking library, but I haven't done that. So with devastating emotional power and heart-stopping suspense, Drowning is an unforgettable thriller about a family's desperate fight to save themselves and the people trapped with them against impossible odds. I don't know if this is like it crashes into the Pacific Ocean. During the evacuation, an engine explodes and the plane is flooded Those still alive are forced to close the doors, but it's too late. The plane's sinking to the bottom with 12 passengers trapped inside. It sounds so good. And honestly, this one would actually count for the water setting as well, despite the fact that it's on a plane. It would count for the water setting. So if by some chance I manage to get it back into my local library or get access to my nephew's signed up at the library near him, if I can get access to them, I may put this one in for the water setting instead and then try and pick up another library book. Or if I get to read something from Jade's library, like her collection or Gavin's collection while I'm with them that would fit horror elements, I will swap it out. But otherwise, I'm going to go for this one. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. It's about time. Okay, the next one is to pick the book together. So picked by chance. A book that is picked by random via spinner wheel, jar pull, pet pick, partner pick, have people voted on a poll, etc. The hard mode for this one is that there's more than 10 possibilities. So let me go through with you. Let's put that back because we'll come back to you in a second. Let me go through with you my list. I've put them on a spinner wheel and we're going to pick it together. Here are my books. There is a mix in here of horror and then like thrillers and mysteries. So we have No Place Left Behind by Megan Lally. Very excited to give this one a read. We've got Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Signed, Sealed, Dead by Cynthia Murphy. Burn the Negative by Josh Winning. Salem's Fall by Rectock Ross. I kind of hope this one comes up. I'm very excited about reading it and I couldn't get it to fit any of the other prompts. I would also be excited about No Place Left Behind, actually. The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, which was on last year's TBR. At the End of Everything by Marieke Nijkamp. I've had that for a long time, should have got to it by now. Gerald's Game by Stephen King. Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. And The Spite House by Johnny Compton. Johnny Compton, my apologies. Johnny Compton, I should have got to this one by now as well. So that is quite the stack. I've got 12 books on there. So let's do the spinner wheel. Okay, let's see what we get. I'm a bit nervous. There's some I want more than others. Oh, Gerald's Game. Okay. This kind of works out because I don't have a Stephen King on here at all, and I feel like that's blasphemy a little bit. So this kind of works out. There was some that I really wanted though. Like I really wanted Salem's Fall. And I really wanted No Place Left to Hide. Never mind. We've got Gerald's Game by Stephen King, which I am excited to read, actually. I haven't seen the movie for this either, so maybe that could be the horror movie that I read for the horror movie, the horror movie element prompt. Maybe that's the horror movie I could read after this. I don't even know if this is classed as a horror. Thrilling suspense. No, it isn't. This is following a husband and wife that essentially like to play games in the bedroom, and then one day a game goes a little bit too far for a wife and she has decided that she's feeling angry and humiliated, so she kicks out at him. He falls, hits his head and dies, and she's still stuck to the bed with handcuffs, and shit starts to get really, really weird. There's no one around. They're in an isolated cabin and shit starts to get really, really weird, and it sounds interesting. I believe that this starts off quite slow, so I am glad I know that going into it so that I'm, pace myself with the book. But yeah, okay, we've got Stephen King with Gerald's Game on here, so yay for that. I can put that on my finished bingo board to show you at the end. So that's exciting. Let me just pop that in here. Okay, a book you've been putting off. Finally read the book that has been on your radar that you keep not reading for whatever reason. It's intimidating, it's been on your TBR for a long time, etc. Hard mode, make it the first book you fill out on the board. The book I've been putting off is The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. Listen, Zoe picked this for me as a Patreon pot pick a couple months ago. It's been on my TBR since it was released, which is a long time ago now, I think. I have tried it before and then I put it down and 2020. It's been on my TBR for 5 years. It's about time I got to it. This is getting out of hand. Something's not right at the roadside sundown motel for a very long time, and Carly Kirk is about to find out why in this chilling new novel. So we're set in 2 different timelines, 1982 and 2017. And yeah, I'm intrigued. I've also got the Book of Cold Cases from Simone St. James, and I have enjoyed Murder Road. So a lot of people have said to me, if you enjoyed Murder Road, you should try the Sundown Motel. It's about time. Okay, next we have LGBT plus rep. So this is obviously a book that has queer representation. Hard mode is the representation, is the MC, and there are queer themes. So in this, I don't know if this is actually going to be, our main character is queer, but I don't know if there's queer themes. Until I read it, I won't know. But I'm going to be picking up What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher. This is the 3rd book in the Sworn Soldier series, which I absolutely adore. And we are back following Alex, and I'm intrigued. Alex Easton does not want to visit America. They particularly do not want to visit an abandoned coal mine in the West Virginia with a reputation for being haunted. But when their old friend Dr. Denton summons them to help find his lost cousin, who went missing in that very mine, well, sometimes a sworn soldier has to do what a sworn soldier has to do. I'm so excited to get this, so thank you to Titan again for sending me this. I'm obsessed with this cover. Now I'm going to have to hunt down the other 2. I did have them, and then I got rid of them because one was a paperback and one was a hardback, and that was really dumb of me. So I need to check if my brother's still got them or not, but otherwise I need to hunt down other copies. But yeah, I'm going to put this one on for LGBT rep. Next we have a buddy read, and when I told my patrons that Sarah had released the next Horror Bingo, some of them are very excited. They took part in the last year's in 2024's, and they're excited for taking part in this one. And then Claire recommended that we do a buddy read between us for the buddy read prompt. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. So we're going to be setting up a chat in the Patreon Discord, and we have done a poll of about, I don't know how many books there were, maybe 6 or 7. I will show a picture of the poll results here. But we are actually going for Rachel Harrison's Play Nice, which is her new book, and I'm very excited about it. It's a clever take on a haunted house novel, and I'm looking forward to this one. Thank you again to Titan for sending me this one. I truly appreciate it. This one has now been released. I think the What Stalks the Deep hasn't come out just yet, but this one has now been released, I'm fairly certain. Very excited about giving this one a read, and I'm really looking forward to discussing it with my patrons. The hard mode for this one is to participate in a discussion, so I'm going to put that down as a hard mode because we will end up doing that. Yay for that. Next is a recommended book. So this is a recommendation to you either by a friend or an online book person. I had a quick look at Sarah's Pink Horror book recommendations. To take a recommendation from that makes sense to take a recommendation from the host of the readathon. So the hard mode is a book that's outside your comfort zone, whether it be because of format or subgenre. This isn't outside of my comfort zone, but from that list, I'm actually going to be picking up Such Sharp Teeth by Rebecca Harrison. I'd already decided on this before Play Nice won the poll. So we do have 2 Rachel Harrisons on the docket, which I'm not mad about in any stretch of the imagination. I've got to start catching up on her backlist now. So this one is a darkly comedic love story. It is brilliantly layered portrait of trauma, rage and vulnerability. I think there's going to be some female rage in this, which sounds fantastic. And I think it is like a werewolf one. So yay. Next, we have a novella, and the hard mode for this one is by an author you have read from before. So I am hard mode for this one. I'm going for Below by Laurel Hightower. I read Crossroads from her for last year's bingo board, and for this one, I'm going to be reading Below from her. So I'm excited for this one. I'm really interested by it. It's on my Kindle, and I'm looking forward to picking this one up. Don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's got like a moths on it in it or something. I don't fucking know. Sounds good though. I don't know if it sounds good. I've heard good things. Next, we have Planty, Eco or Nature, a book that centres planty and nature-based horror, bugs, plants, etc. Hard mode, the cover includes nature elements. I'm going yes on the hard mode for this one, and I'm actually going for C.G. Drew's next book, which is Hazelthorn, which I'm really excited about and have an arc of, and I'm very intrigued for. So this one does have like the planty, eco, nature horror element to it. I don't think it's as heavy as Don't Let the Forest In, but it's definitely there. And I'm very much so looking forward to this one. Again, it is queer as well, so this could fulfill the LGBT rep as well. But I've put this one in for Planty, Eco Nature. I don't have a lot of those books on my TBR. So I am reading that one for this prompt. Title includes a verb. There is a verb in the title. Sell, eat, roll, share, etc. Hard mode. The book is a backlist. So for this one, I am shit at English, for starters. I'm really hoping this counts, and if it doesn't, tell me in the comments so I can change this. But I've Googled it, and Google has confirmed that it is a verb, but I don't know if that is 100% correct or not, because it also said that it could be an adjective or a noun. I don't know. Shit at English. So I do have an arc of the place where they buried your heart. I don't know if it's bury or buried that is the verb. Sell, eat, roll, bury. To bury someone. To be buried. I don't fucking know, but apparently it's a verb. And I have been sent this one again from Titan, so I want to try and get to it before it comes out officially, which is... When is that? The 4th of November, so that would be great if at all possible. I haven't had a great track record with Christina Henry, but we'll see what happens. A woman must confront the evil that has been terrorising her streets since she was a child in this gripping haunted house novel. Perfect for fans of The Last House on Needless Street. I gave that 5 stars, and tell me I'm worthless. I haven't read that one. But yeah, it sounds interesting. So let me know if you think buried is a verb or bury. Let me know your thoughts on that, but that's what I'm planning on picking for that one. Okay, second chance is the next prompt. Read a book that you're giving a second chance to, which could be The Sundown Motel. It could be based on the author, the subgenre, format style, a book you previously did not finish, or something else. Hard mode, it has an odd number of pages. So for this one, I'm actually going to go for an author that I'm giving a second chance to, and I'm going for The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre by Philip Fracassi. I have a arc of this. I'm trying to get as many arcs on here as I possibly can to force me to get through them. I have an arc of this one. I don't believe that this has an odd number of pages. I'm fairly certain it's like 416 pages or something. Philip Fracassi I have tried to read from before. The Boys in the Valley. I started that book and I never actually finished it, and I have since unhauled the book. It wasn't a bad book. I was actually enjoying myself. I just put it down and then never came back to it. I lost interest in coming back to it. So it's not that I officially like DNF'd the book. I suppose I did. I unhauled it. But I just put it down, didn't come back. And there's a chance that I would be interested in actually trying to go back to that book if I really enjoy this one. So I'm intrigued by this one. It sounds good. It's got like the element of like older people in it. It's a retirement home and there are murders going down, and I just kind of like the setting of older people in books. I really enjoy it. So looking forward to this one. Next we have animal on the cover. So this does have to be an animal that exists in reality, so not mythical or cryptic creature. And the hard mode is the book is longer than the last book you read. So I don't know whether or not the hard mode is right until I'm picking the book up. But the book I'm going to go for, it doesn't have, I could have picked like Cujo, for example, that literally has a dog on the cover. Same with Gerald's Game, actually, that also has a dog on the cover. But I've gone for something that's got a small section of the cover with animals on it. I'm going for We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. I desperately want to read this book. And it's got birds on the cover. So that's what I'm picking up. This is another haunted house book. It's got following a man and wife. She's been in a coma and she wakes up. It nearly killed her, and then her husband has made the decision that instead of them going back to London, where they're originally from, they're going to move to the wild moors of Devon. However, when she turns up to the house, she notices that it's not as bright as she thought it was going to be. It's looking a little bit dank and a little bit dark. And then once they're in, she starts to notice things. She's hearing footsteps. She's noticing that doors are open that weren't open before. There's weird shit going on in the house. But whenever it happens, her husband isn't around and he thinks she's losing her fucking mind. So sounds great, and I'm really intrigued by it. So I'm looking forward to this one. Birds on the cover. Next, we have a one-word title, and for this one, obviously, just a book with one word. Sarah has said that a book that has the word "the" in the title counts as a word, so that's therefore a 2-word title, so that doesn't count. So hard mode, the cover is colourful and not black. I'm not going hard mode for this one. I am, in fact, going back to a book that was on my 2024 TBR, and I'm going for Mary by Nat Cassidy. So this is a 1-word title. Actually, that is incorrect. Is the title Mary, or is the title Mary, An Awakening of Terror? Am I incorrect here? Oh, no. Oh, no. The title is Mary, An Awakening of Terror. How did I not notice this? God fucking damn it, Dave. Okay, maybe I swap this out with my other Nat Cassidy. That's, how frustrating is that? I always just say that the title is Mary. Oh, no. God damn, because I wanted to read this one before Nestlings, because this is the debut. Okay, maybe I just go for Nestlings instead. We'll stick with the author. Oh, no. I really wanted to read that. Fuck's sake. Okay, we'll just do Nestlings. It is what it is. We're going to be picking this one up instead. I can't believe that. God damn it. Okay, I actually don't know what this one is about. I ended up picking this one up because after I read When the Wolf Comes Home, I read the author's note in the end, and I immediately wanted to get a copy of this one. It had me wanting to pick up Mary and Nestlings very quickly, which I obviously haven't done. So I would like to get to them very quickly. This one is harnessing the creeping paranoia of Rosemary's Baby with the urban horror of Salem's Lot. Interesting. 2 books that I haven't read before. Chuck Wendig says, Nestlings is so fucking good, it makes me mad. I have never seen a review on the back of a book before, or the front of a book with a swear word in it. I mean, they've put stars in, but nice. Okay, so we're going for Nestlings instead, because this actually does have 1 word in the title. Let me just change that on my story graph to make sure that that is correct for the prompt. I am so annoyed about that. I'm devastated. God damn, because like Hazelthorne could have gone in there instead. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Doesn't matter. Nestlings. Okay, we're down to the last 3 books. I didn't realise this video was going to take so long. I'm hoping that I can really chop this down somewhat. Okay, debut book. So this is a book that is the first book published by an author. The hard mode is the book is their only released work as a debut author. So I'm not going hard mode on this one. I'm actually going for Mayfly by CJ Lead. This is one that I could have changed with you know, put Mary in for debut. But I do want to get to this one soon because I've heard great things, and I believe it's a slasher, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm interested. I believe she works by day a little bit. Think of something like Disneyland, something like that. And then by night, she goes to dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other, imitating her misanthropic literary heroes. And then her best friend's brother moves to town and awakens something dangerous within her. No idea what's going on here. Don't know what kind of monsters are involved in this, but I'm assuming there is some form of a monster in here, but I don't know what. And I'm excited to find out. Okay, then we have works with another goal. So a book that helps a personal reading goal, reading challenge, or readathon. Hard mode, the overlap is within the YouTube community, and you share the event in the comments of the announcement video. Okay, so this one, for me, the goal, let me just double check if I've got this down for our fantasy this year. Oh, I do. Okay, so this one for me crosses over with my 25 books in 2025. It's actually on my 12 books from 12 friends, which is part of my 25 books in 2025. So I need to get to it by the end of the year. But it is also on my our fantasy bingo board as well. So I can now, if I put the comments in that video, the announcement video, I can now say yes to the hard mode for this one. But the book I'm picking is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, another haunted house story. Tell me like haunted houses without telling me like got haunted houses. Just Like Home is a darkly gothic thriller. It's not a horror per se. Perfect for fans of Netflix's The Haunting of Hill House, as well as HBO's true crime masterpiece, I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I love I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I didn't love The Haunting of Hill House, but I do think that I would like the TV show better. So I'm intrigued by this one. She ends up having to go back to her childhood home because her mother's sick, I think. And she comes back to the home of a serial killer. I think her dad was a serial killer or something, and strange goings-on start to happen within the house. She's estranged from her mum as well, so when she gets the call to come home, it's very bizarre, and she ends up going home immediately. And then last but by no means least, because this tower of books on the floor is about to fall over, we have Social Commentary, a horror book that has themes surrounding social issues, racism, homophobia, poverty, mental health, addiction, gender equality, etc. Hard mode, the author is in a marginalised group. So I'm actually picking up a book again that Sarah recommended in the video specifically for this prompt, and I'm actually going for The Reformatory by Tananarive. I've heard incredible things about this one, and it was gifted to me by Naomi. And it is a chonker. So this is probably one that I'll aim for like next year. But I've heard incredible things. Now, I don't know anything about it other than the fact that I know that it's historical horror. But it's Jim Crow, Florida, 1950. Following a trivial scuffle with a white boy, 12-year-old Robert Stevens Jr. is sent to the Gracetown School for Boys, but the segregated reformatory is a chamber of horrors haunted by the boys that have died there. Oh, this is kind of similar vibes. Not actually, no, it's not. It's a little bit different to Boys in the Valley, but kind of a little bit similar. In order to survive the sadistic school warden and the evils meted out in his funhouse, Robert must enlist the help of the school's ghosts, only they have their own motivations. Oh, interesting. Okay, very different, actually, to Boys in the Valley. It's just that whole going to a boys' kind of secluded, isolated setting thing and, you know, them being treated terribly. It was that, giving that vibe. But yeah. So I believe this will also count for hard mode as well, which is great news. So I'm really intrigued by this one. I'm really hoping that I do get on with this book. I don't want to say like it by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's going to be quite heavy in nature, actually. But I do hope that I get on with this book. I don't want to DNF this one. But I am nervous because with it being historical, it's not my favourite setting, really. And I'm hoping, I don't think that it is, but I'm hoping it's not like litfic type horror. I have Googled and I don't think it is. I think it's just historical. So we'll find out. But I'm interested to give this one a read. And that is my stack. We did have some changes during that process. That one's really tripped me up with Nestlings, honestly. I'm really sad about it with the one word title. I'm so sad now that I don't have Mary on here, because I would have picked something else for that entirely by a different author if I could have got Mary elsewhere. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to like switch some things up throughout the year. I probably will. Knowing my luck, I probably end up will doing. But that is, in general, the TBR that I'm aiming for the 2025-2026 Horror Bingo board. I can't believe how long this video has taken me. It's absolutely insane. I'm currently at 67 minutes filming this. I'm hoping I managed to get that right down. But alas, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Have you got any other recommendations for me with any of these other prompts that maybe you thought, you know, you saw the prompt, you heard the prompt from me and was like, oh, I would read that for that prompt, and I picked something different? Let me know what your thought process was. I'm always looking for more horror recommendations. If there's any that you think to yourself, that book really isn't horror, it's definitely more thriller themed, and I know there's something on her shelves that she could have read instead that is horror, let me know in the comments down below. And if you think there's something that doesn't count, like for example, The Place Where They Buried Your Hearts by Christina Henry Ford includes a verb, let me know in the comments down below. I want to make sure that I'm definitely completing the books with the prompts with the right books. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. If you want any other information on this horror bingo board, there will be a link to Sarah in the description box down below for her channel. There will also be a link to the original announcement video, and please do go and check her out because I can't recommend her enough. I would highly recommend it. There will also be a link to the Storygraph as well for this challenge. So do go and check all of that out. I would highly recommend, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.